For the cover of the mini album, I chose to use the phrase on page 68, Noel, and I cut this out in a glittery white paper, and I cut it out about 2.5 inches. The other thing that I did was it has a shifted layer, and that would be the N would be in another color and the E, and then the wing to the big bird, and then the bird at the bottom by the L. What I did do is I hid the N and the E, and I did the bird and at the bottom by the L and the wing in red, and then I glued that on top of it. The other thing I did for some of them, because the white didn't pop as much as I wanted to, I did the phrase shadow behind it, and I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like on 2 of the books that I've put the cover. This is for the cover. So this one you can see the little red birds. It does not have any shadow behind it because I thought it popped well enough with that paper. And then this is the one I did with a purple shadow behind the word. And that's what the cover phrase will look like. I'm going to continue to finish my mini books. Another thing I did for my mini books is I cut a border strip from the Martha Stewart Star Punch, and it is really hard to cut thick paper with Martha Stewart's punches. One of the things they recommend is when you go to punch, you hold the back side down and the front side down. Obviously I can't do that when I'm holding the camera, but they want you to put pressure on this part as you're punching. I did do that, but it was still difficult to punch through that, so I'm just letting you know if you wanted to use a thinner paper, maybe metallic paper instead of this glitter paper would be easier to punch. But this is the look, and what I did is on the flap that comes up, I went ahead and just taped that all the way across, and that's the first half of the mini album, and then I have the second half. So that coordinates with what I put on the cover of the mini album. And I should probably say again, this is the same mini album that I showed you in a previous video that was made with a double-sided 12 by 12 paper. So you can refer to my previous video on how to make this mini album. Here's the inside of the finished mini album. Each pocket, because there's 8 pockets for the mini album that we make, each pocket has a tag inside of it, and on the tag, which I haven't done yet, I was going to write scripture or some message for each day. It could be an Advent little mini album, or it could just be a little story that you could share with your children or grandchildren. And so each page, like I said, holds one of the tags that I've already showed you. What I did do, I think I've already showed you that, is I hole punched, border punched all the way across. And then I filled, like I said, each one of the pockets in with a tag. The other thing that I did was for the covers, I already showed you how I put the Noel on the front. The other thing I did is I stitched a button, and how I stitched the button is I went through the ribbon, but how I did it was I hole punched 2 tiny hole punches, and then I went through with embroidery floss, and then I tied it in the back, and I got covered up with this sparkly gold punched paper that I did. The other thing that I did was, because the tags are just a little bit taller, which I wanted them to be than the book, is I added a little bit of nylon netting. It's a tulle like bridal veil, and I just I gathered that on the sewing machine, and then I used the double-sided heavy-duty tape, and I attached that to the back of that first page. And that's pretty much it, and my book is ready for a gift. Here's one of my variations. It's exact same color paper that I used on the first one that I showed you, but the tags all are done in that cream embossed line. But this is what it looks like when it's completed with a different color. The front of this album is exactly the same. This is the lavender version that I did, and again, it's just all the lavender tags inside of a lavender mini album. And the reason why it's lavender is my daughter-in-law's favorite color is lavender, and she does decorate at Christmas time with purples and lavenders. So I thought this would go with her theme. So that's what this one looks like. The front of it is a little bit different. And I think I'm going to go ahead and show all the fronts together at one time. Here's the pink version that I did, and I did that in a, the paper is kind of like a flocked paper. And again, all of the tags, this is where I use this subtle patterned paper. My daughter actually likes, has part of her, one of her rooms decorated Christmas time with pink and antique looking colors. So I went ahead and made this one for her. And this is what this looks like. Oops. So that's pretty much what I made, and I'll show you the covers. This is the covers of all of the different mini albums that I did with the different tags. And actually, I forgot to share with you the border punch that I used for the sides of each of the covers. And that's right here. And actually this one really tends to, this brand tends to cut through the glitter paper so much easier than the Martha Stewart. I love Martha Stewart, but it's really difficult to cut through thicker paper with hers. But anyway, this is what they all look like. And I hope you enjoyed this project.